And welcome back. We're picking where we left off last time in Shadow Empire, in the self-imposed challenge of Fear of Walking, as the Justice League at the beginning of round 108, where we have 4 decisions. One of which is presumably what to do with that dome breach. There's our mechanized siege infantry. It'll be nice to get access to. Mechanized heavy siege infantry. Probably won't bother with that. That's double artillery. I tend to want to do mixed units rather than heavy units, particularly.
Copy that.
Motorized MGs, motorized siege. Mechanized siege was fine. No grenadiers yet. In the motorized or mechanized target. Would like the motorized version, not the armored, but the grenadier portion of that. I might be able to do something motorized assault infantry. Sure. Don't remember exactly what that is, but we'll go ahead and develop that. Dome breach. Yes, you have my ability. You have my full support making that another thing, and then appointing governor. Camp 3 or Camp 3. So we'll go with one slightly higher suitability. Okay. So you will kick in next turn. So these guys, in fact, we can say we probably want to move even further back to my supply here. Okay. So that should kick in this following turn. This also wants to become a new zone.
Roger that.
Okay, should be enough. That'll kick in next turn, so we'll see how that improves next turn. Okay, so that's the south for the moment. Then up here in the north, you guys are going to run east. Okay. We'll have these guys continue to push north, grabbing what they can from the otherwise unsecured territory up there. Yep, he'll come back into supply next turn. The rest of this is fine. We took that road back. Push it back to green supply. Then connect to those two fronts. And yeah, the mechanized guys don't do quite so good apparently driving through the desert. Oh, interesting. We having... yeah, traffic signs. We're having supply issues with still again here. Yeah. Are you online? Should be. Maybe it hasn't kicked in yet. Give it one more turn before I start to panic about my supply situation. Still making some progress. This guy's probably going to just disengage instead of staying engaged, to be fair. Yeah. We do have some more political power, so I could potentially do some more. Oh, that was the one down here was the news zone, right? This one was the news zone. Yeah. Let's go ahead and dump on this there.
Roger that.
So that you can have stuff to build. Next turn, we'll probably dump the colonists here and do a rail. And then dump colonists to build a rail. We'll see how the rail looks like after that. Production's proceeding well. I don't really want to queue up right now. Well, because otherwise we're going to run into workers in some places. The newer colonies are not big enough just to plop down a construction order and expect the workers to show up for. Victory-wise, we are doing pretty good. We are approaching 50% population. That's the colony facilities doing its work. We're approaching pretty quickly towards 50% of the planet. So we'll see if we can get away without actually having to fight a war. If not, I think we're still in a good state. Potentially, we're after Blackland here. Let's go ahead. We're gonna grab some mercs. Not mercs, military. So we got some leaders. Then can I do raised military? Mechanized siege infantry. Do we have the supply to drop them there? Yep. We can drop one. Okay, so that'll be my batch in here. In some ways the siege is better for attacking. In some ways it's worse. Because it gets lots of attacks. And it's pretty big caliber versus the MG, which is probably a little bit better against soft targets, but like this looks bad until you remember this is artillery and it does artillery stuff. So this gets lots of shots. I think it's how it's fielded. So it's not particularly great shots, but it's lots of shots. Sure. And then we'll either put tanks down here or we'll bring up the tanks from the southwest, I think, for the fight there. Yeah, let's cycle the turn. Let's see how the situation improves in the southwest. Let's have a bunch of fuel and see if the fuel comes back over the intern. Just test the resiliency of the fuel stock, its fuel production. Yeah. Definitely making some progress. At the same time, we are approaching the point where there isn't anything more to grab. It's mainly just the rotors and the Iractans at this point. I think that's got territory left. Well, and that mountain range in the southwest. The mountain range is going to be its own hurdle, just because, you know, trucks don't move through high mountains very well. You need a road, so you'd have to... If you're doing it purely with trucks, you have to sort of like move the truck a hex. Build the road. Move the truck a hex. build the road. And that's if there's no one in the hex that you want to take. That's why we've got the walkers down there. Because they can go into those mountains. Okay, watching the majors sort of do their dance with each other. We get attacked, we held, we killed 100 infantry. Okay, not a bad end turn. We got 5 decisions, no significant losses for us. Round 109 coming right up. Decisions, yes, favor political power. We'll roll the merit here. We're probably gonna fail the merit here, but we'll roll the merit. Oh, we actually got a success. Okay. New governor. We get a camp 3, or camp 1. So you're the one we want the least. Camp 3 then. Humanist. We can either take the camp 1 or the camp 3. The camp 3 is both better and gonna get better. Okay. And hopefully the supply situation's improved down here. Or is this the same as the northeast? Northeast. Okay, so these are in. The way to check is we should have like. Okay, so it hasn't actually propagated yet. We need one more turn for the supplies to start coming out of there. But in the meantime, the supply situation has, you know, improved a little bit. So we can sneak a little farther forward, so we got a little bit less distance to dash on the next turn. Okay. Back into supply, back into supply. Grab those hexes, grab that hex, grab that hex. Those ones. The new trucks are arriving, so that's good. The new unit from the west is arriving. So we should just start being able to take aggressive maneuvers against the arachnids in next turn. Yeah, and basically, arachnids. Are these arachnids? These are arachnids. So we got 3 batches of arachnids here to handle. And that's actually probably what's the majority of the remaining unclaimed territories, arachnid territory.
Move it now! All clear, sir.
Okay. Going reasonably well. Advance over there. Push you up to throw a little bit of interior space there. How badly do I want the territory down here? You know, we'll send the walker and the walker alone down here. Not sure if there's actually any real resistance down here. And the mechanized will go up. Set it down. And where we have those roads, we should go ahead and upgrade them to sealed. Okay. Not a lot that we can upgrade to sealed, but we can upgrade a few of them to sealed. At some point I should free up some militia to hold that point. You know, the 6 here is probably perfect. Staging move you. We don't necessarily need a big garrison there, just enough to keep the place from just falling at a stiff breeze. Same here. Take the 3 over. To you. I'll take one of the 7s over to you. And then colonists here. Oops. I'm gonna send. Then that should raise enough workers to build rail station.
Copy that.
More than enough workers to build the rail station, honestly. Did we finish the airfield? The airbase? Yes. So that's what I should queue up here. This is one of my bigger cities, so I don't need to put colonists here to build stuff. And we're waiting for the jet engines to develop. Turbojets to develop the next set of aircraft. Looks like we got 2 turns on that. Okay, time to call you up.
Roger that.
Research, swap you from personal to conventional.
Roger that.
Model design. Currently developing those missiles, okay. And we're probably, if we might get SAMs after developing the missiles. Engines are coming along. Less worried about the staff council. Mine revitalization is nice because it'll give us more mine yield. Which reminds me. The Odessa metal mine is empty, so we should do peripheral mining on Odessa. And it reminded me to check, not reminded me that we had 0. I needed to check to know that I needed to do the thing.
Copy that.
We do have a bunch more ruins in this area up here. Let's go ahead and give it a archaeological search. See if we have anything in those ruins. We've got most of the ruins. There's a couple hexes, or hexes that we're missing. But,
Copy that.
okay, we didn't roll 100, so we don't know for sure. Found something on a plus 100. I don't have the political power to keep checking. Yeah. We'll check again next turn when we have more political power. Let's advance the timer after making sure we got plenty of resources. Okay, we sold the oil off the last turn. And the oil stockpile came back, so we definitely have plenty of oil. On the other hand, oil is so cheap now that they won't buy it from us, so we'll have to sell something else. We'll sell rare earth metals this time. To keep the budget balanced. And we advance the turn. I don't think we're going to find... Like, we might find another artifact site. But I don't think we're going to find anything as nice as the very rare ones we found early in the game. Those were real nice. That's where the cloning facilities came from. Okay, not seeing anything scary on the major borders. Okay, we held. That's good. No real losses. We killed 400 infantry, took no losses in exchange. We have 8 decisions. The bottom around 110. Distant Death is what they decided to call the missile launcher. Okay. And we discovered the concept of robotic soldiers. National budget. Not really gonna touch any of the budget items. Yeah, we'll just roll with what it is.
Roger that.
Merit hit 75. I'd like it to do that. I'm not sure if it is, but I'd like it to do that. I agree. I don't want enforcement or heart, so we'll take the one that reduces both.
Okie dokie.
It's fine. We developed missiles. We're not ready quite yet for what comes next. So we'll hit no new orders for the moment. Guess you have a full sword to deal with those. Got an empty mine here.
Copy that.
More in it. 10,000 more in the empty mine.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Okay, let's check the southeast or southwest. We should have better supply there, and we do. So forward goes the vehicles. Okay, definitely made a bunch of progress down there. Even if it was just moving the wall of troops forward. This is the mountain range. So pushing through the mountain range is actually going to be oh, actually, they've cut me off. So we're just going to push out to here, and then I don't care about that. But yes, this is unclaimed, but it's behind a person that I have to declare on, and I like the nice safe border right now. Okay. Go down there. You go down there. I could attack across the river. We're not going to. That'll be fine. You grab there. You grab there. Yeah, we got you cornered up in them hills where we don't really fight you very well. I'm definitely gonna have to free up some mechanized to deal with the arachnids over here. On this side of the mountain. And or some walkers. Probably put emphasis on the and there. Probably and some walkers. Okay, seal that road. Seal the road, seal the road, seal the road.
Bring in the tanks. All clear, sir.
Chase them off. Oh, that's a different batch of rotors. We got two batches of rotors here. Maybe not immediately get adjacent to the second batch. It's not trying to make the problem potentially worse. Okay, we should be able to deal with you next turn. Definitely putting pressure on them. The difficulty here is until these walkers get freed up in the bit down here, we don't have anything really good at fighting in the mountains. And the arachnids don't have that problem. So we'll have a little bit of interesting on how to deal with the arachnids. And I think it's up here where we want the next train station. It's a little bit of a dash, more than it really should be, but yeah, we'll put it up there. It won't be perfect throughput, but it'll be close enough.
Roger that. Roger that.
Like to see that population score still going up. Still need more of the planet. Air base is coming along. Get those rail stations. What do I want next? Does it make sense to get a unit over here? Probably leave filling out this bit of the front for last. Worst case scenario, they attack over here and we just kind of shrug. Because they can push far enough that they're going to run into the problem that they're actually at war with these guys as well. So, worst case scenario, we just lose our salient there and that'll be fine. Want some guys in here? Probably. Can I raise a brigade right here? If it's light infantry. Maybe that's a sign to hold off until the rails come in. Yeah, let's hold off until the rails come in. Canada's taking over that ruin. Did we get the last... We got all but one hex, so we can definitely go and roll a couple more archaeological expeditions.
Copy that.
Okay. So unless there's something specifically in that hex, we've found everything in that big ruin, which is a little bit of a disappointment because it was just one common artifact set, but every once in a while you just gotta be disappointed. You usually get what you need in this game, you don't always get what you want. Yeah, otherwise I think we're good for a turn roll. Prospecting, or not prospecting, well, maybe. Reserves, we've got enough reserves for everything, so I don't need to do their peripheral mining. Construction's going fine. Victory is looking fine. Air Force should be next turn, so we might call the Model Counselor up next turn for redesigning our Air Force. Starting the process of redesigning the Air Force. Electric engines will probably be done next turn, so we'll have a little bit of competing work there. Conventional smart arms over to 50. We'll take it up to like 60 before we end. One cycle turn. Okay, southeast is safe, by the looks of it. Which just makes sense, we're at peace with them, so it's going to be real safe. They're not interested necessarily in lots of guys on our border. We don't even share a border with the number 2. It's number 3. Share a little bit of a border with them. Oh, I forgot to move the walkers. Oops. Could have grabbed a little more territory and moved the walkers. Could have been like 2 more hexes, but... And then that would have precipitated grabbing like 2 more hexes, and... At which point then the walkers would have been done, would have been pulling out, but... I forgot to do that. We get attacked, we hold, we basically killed half the marauders. It's good to see. Get attacked, we only killed a third of the marauders there, so we killed a lot of guys on that turn. 1100 infantry defeated, gained 6 decisions, around 111. Here we go. According to some returning wasteland explorers, the arachnids have leveled up to swarm. Got the electric engines going, and the turbojet engines. Got some plea of friendships. Maybe tempting to do robotic soldiers. What do we... Oh, well, no, it's battle dress for that. Remember extreme vehicles being a requirement for something. But not the tech I'm thinking of, at least. Yeah, so liquid's good against energy. Polymer, I think, is weak to energy, but good to regular projectiles, so on and so forth. I suppose we could do beam guns. That would be an interesting thing to necessarily put on tanks. Or hyper-explosive ammo. Yeah. Let's do hyper-explosive ammo. Air Force. You know, we'll do VTOL turbojet. Don't really, I'm not interested in doing custom formations. We're just pretty much saving up customization points here while slowly investing. Democracy is the best of the bad options.
Yes, sir.
Don't care about the spy choices.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's a good question. Let's bring up the blueprints quickly. So, on my tanks, is the electrical engines better than the diesel engines? So, heavy diesel is 400 horsepower, double electrical is also 400. Okay, so it's not actually going to be a power increase. It's light weight decrease. Not enough to give us a modifier on these tanks, for example. What about our medium tanks? Double diesel, triple electric. Oh, it's actually powered down. Huh, I actually expected the electrical to be worth better. It's a weight down, but we're losing power, and that's the problem there. So, nope. Okay, so we're not going to do anything with electrical engines right this minute. Double diesel versus triple diesel, yeah. Okay, so instead, we're going to blueprint up a recon plane, which is going to be ultralight. Ultralight aircraft, new blueprint. You're going to be recon. You're going to run the lightest of the turbojets to start. We're going to be nice. All the guns weigh the same. We'll give you some guns. You can defend yourself if you get attacked. But no cargo, no bombs. Give you some fuel. And 10. So that's the maximum range without doing something like upgrading the fins. Okay, with very small wings, we can get, with that amount of fuel tank, 25 hex range. Up to small, does that help? No. Very small wings, 12,000 liter fuel tank on the light turbojet. So there we go, that's going to be our recon. Which has, I believe, the game maximum range for reconnaissance, which is 25 hexes, so that will work real well. So with that, we're going to call up Model Counselor.
Standing by.
Give you a model design. Ultralight. Ultralight. We'll build upon the spotter because presumably it's just basically our new version of the spotter. Taken up to 25 hexes. Yes, there we go. And then we'll also do the blueprint for the next one, which will be the light aircraft. We already apparently had one. This will be our fighter. So once again, giving you guns. Yeah, just giving you guns. We got no rockets on this size, so just guns. Wait, whoops. No, why don't you just click that? There we go. So, we've guns. Your fighter. Light should be recon. There we go. Back on the fighter. Guns. So we'll start with the light turbojet here. Fighter guns. We do have some rockets. We'll strap you onto the medium rockets. Those do have air attack. They also air to ground as well, but these are our fighters, so we want air attack on them. We'll assume you're going to at least have the same fuel as the recon. It's also running very small. Maybe if we up the engine size, get just that little bit more range. You get max range. There we go. So if we're going up to heavy turbojets, which is a little heavy, but you know, you needs must sometimes. So we got a fighter with heavy turbojet engines, medium wings with the charged Gauss heavy MGs, and medium rockets for fighting purposes. Okay, and that'll be your light aircraft. We'll come back to the medium aircraft, which will be the fighter bomber later. Then we do have colonists to deploy. Where do I think I need more colonists? We'll push the logistics out. Probably just focus on growing the colonies for the moment. So you were the one we were working most on, so we'll up EU next. Up 32,000 colonists there. That should be enough to get this place up to level 2, which will allow us to do the scrapping better. As well as expand that rail facility, which is currently level 1. Yeah. We're waiting for this rail to finish. That'll be another turn. And then we'll be able to deploy troops up and down this rail line, I think, pretty reliably.
Move it now! All clear, sir.
Okay. Partially seeing my target preference. I think the militia can probably handle the nomads. I'm less worried, or a little bit more worried about the arachnids, which is why we're moving the mechanized units over to deal with them. Okay. Definitely moving a lot of sectors there. Yeah, let's move you towards there. Push you down the road because you'll be a little bit faster catching up the road. Do we have enough movement? Yes. Unit immediately begins retreating, and some units. So we got the circle. That is high mountains. So nothing that isn't a walker or militia for us can get into that terrain. Apparently I can defeat the arachnids without retreating in the mountains. So we'll do that before that one gets out of
Do it
a good train to defeat it.
Mission accomplished.
And then we push. We did take the lava river. The question is, do I want to cross here, or do I want to cross here? Could put the road across earlier if we put it here. It would be probably cheaper to cross there. Though I probably want to do both, so we'll assume we're going to do both. We're going to do here and here. Because the front starts to widen at that point, yeah. As we come out the other side of the lava lake area. So that's the north, that's the northeast. Did we do... I don't think we got the southwest yet. No. You're in low mountains. That's going to be a little bit of a difficulty to deal with. Because that means I need to do the encirclement. I need to get the bits behind him with the walkers. Low mountains we can attack with the motorized, but we can't necessarily do the encirclement the way I would like to do. Although I suppose we don't really have much further to go, right? We got that guy to get. That guy's actually bikes, so the tanks can just push him. He can't go into the mountains like we can't go into the mountains. That works. This is the only guy that I'm worried about getting pushed into the mountains. We're going to encircle with the walkers instead. At this point, we don't really need to push the militia out there, because I think the walkers and the tanks and stuff will be fine. So we'll start pulling the walkers back. If you know the reason to free up the motorized guys here for pushing out to some other place. And by walkers, I mean the militia. The militia that walks. My fear of walking self-imposed rule only applies to the professional troops, the ones that I recruit. If the militia decided to give me guys that are going to walk around, I'll use them, but they're the exception. And they were the exception of the only thing that can get into the high mountains prior to us developing walkers. Everything otherwise has to have the motor that I make. And I think one more turn? Unless we do have a lot more supply, that's what I'm going to check. Alright, we want to do probably the mechanized units, which we can't afford yet. Up here. Well, maybe here, actually, but don't think we can afford them here either. No, don't have the logistics. We'll probably have the logistics the moment the rail is active, which will be... Next turn it will be done. The turn after it will apply its logistics. The turn after we'll actually truly have them, I think. So it's coming. Okay. Need to keep the money going. And yeah, we're making so much fuel. Fuel is worthless. Fuel is worthless. Well, there's quite a bit of demand for the metal, so that will hold us off having to sell stuff for a little while. Second turn. This probably the end turn, or the last part for last end turn for this part. Let me see if I can put it into words what I'm thinking about. So your opportunities for fairly cheap land is sneaking away. It's becoming more and more and more... Oh, I forgot to do those walkers again. Whoops. I'll have to remember to do those walkers first thing. More and more that we can only get land off the arachnids at this point. Okay, Marauders attacked us, which didn't do any damage. So back to us. We'll pick up the next part after a short break. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow. That will be the last part recorded in this recording session, but there'll be a part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to mute the mic, drink about half a cup of tea, and then we'll get back to doing the next turn. So until the next part, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.